Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Well, yeah, we'll be talking about security-related matters this morning at this time. Well, as you saw in that welcoming slide, Mr. Adile Oyebade joins us now. He's the Assistant Inspector General of Police for Zone 11. Well, that image was his CP rank, but now is...
Another feather has been added.
Good to see you this morning, and thank you for coming
so
on.
much, sir.
So, this Zone 11, there's Oyo in there.
Right.
There's Osho in there.
Right.
That is the third state.
Ondo
State as well. So, I know that the IGP did say security will be beefed up during this festive period.
Right.
You know, but the first thing is, why does security have to be beefed up? I thought it's something that should happen on a natural basis. Time and again. Why do you have to announce that security has to be beefed up?
You see, Nigerians need that because this time around, they want to travel, they want to be assured, they want to be double sure. You see, it's about giving the confidence back to those that are having some fears. It's not that the security has not been there before. If you look at, even when I came on board as a Zonal AIG, we have some challenges, if you could recall, along that axis, especially when you talk about Mugon, Ikire, and all that. And the IGP, in his magnanimity, gave us personnel, gave us all the wherewithal to beef up the security there. And since then, we've been able to stabilize. We have more stop and search points. We have also gone to do more of the community policing, not just rhetorics, real community policing. We go down to the grassroots to meet with the community leaders and all the locals, the hunters, and we partner. There is a synergy. So when we come out to say we are beefing up securities to reassure what has been there, it's been there before. And you see what we're doing, especially along that axis, is a lot of networking. We come together every month to review what has happened and what we need to do more. The traditional rulers, the representatives of the government, that's the governors, they are security advisors, they are with us. And that is the Security Stakeholders Forum. It's a noble idea, and it's working.
What does that achieve when you say it's working?
Right. It's you see, crime is dynamic, and crime is committed, especially within some environment where people are seeing it. And in those days, when you go to a community, when a new person comes in, you know. But with the increase in population, you are hardly going to, in an urban area, you wouldn't be able to do that. But what we now develop is intelligence network within those people that need to know to assist us and get back to us. And that's community policing. I give you an example. For the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've been going to the universities. I was at the Redeemers University. I was at Osun University. And also the last 2 weeks at the convocation of Ife, I went there to deliver papers, talking to them about the ills of getting involved in drugs and cult-related crimes.
Is there a prevalence of that in this area?
Yes, it's there, it's there, it's all over. And when you look at it, we get to move closer to them, to talk to them, to tell them the ills, to tell them the advantages of staying off all this tramadol of a thing. So the university authorities partner with us. They see it as an avenue for us to get into them. Okay, at another occasion, we arrange for all the leadership of the ballets, all the
I'm sorry, before you go to the ballet example, for those concerning these drug-related offenses, I mean, could you give us a picture? I mean, what percentage of crime committed has this drug component in it?
It's when you look at our society today, we don't really regulate the drugs. There is a challenge in that direction. Talk about the border, talk about the pharmacies. In developed countries, you don't just go to a pharmacist and drop and you want to get these drugs. No. So we have a challenge there. But more importantly, what I'm saying is the students now, they need to know the peer group influence,
Yeah, but how did you come to that conclusion that, I mean, you really need to go to those schools if it's not increasing the percentage of those who are committing crime or using drugs?
We are trying to be preventive.
Okay.
You see, in today's policing, we want to be preventive rather than being reactive.
Okay.
We are trying to be proactive. And that's why we have our dedicated numbers given to all people. I go to the stations, radio stations, local stations, even the environment where the market, we distribute leaflets, let them know where they can make calls when they are in distress.
Talking about being preventive, Mr. Ibade, there has to be a way, just briefly before we move off this drug-related conversation, there has to be a way to know the sources of these drugs, how they come in, how they come to the students. Well, you said that we have a challenge in the area of
over-the-counter drugs.
In the area of regulating these drugs. We have a challenge in that regard. No. First of all, whose responsibility is that? And have you been able, in the spirit of being preventive, to track the sources of these drugs to these students?
We do. What police will do is, when it happens, sometimes we get the lead. You go to the source. These are the pharmaceutical, those ones that dispose of these drugs. Sometimes you even see that these drugs are expired. And you see the pharmaceutical setup in Nigeria, they have their own regulating body. They come to us, we go around to do these checks together. So sometimes these checks are done. But you see, there are some areas where they are not even registered with the pharmacists in the first instance. So that's where I'm saying that we need to do a lot in trying to regulate how the drugs come in. And that has to do with the pharmaceutical sector.
So what role do the balance play here?
Now, I was trying to talk about getting crime prevention right from the locals. So we get the balance together, we get the hunters, we relate with them. If information comes that we are having somebody in the environment that is likely going to be a problem. You know, crime, when you shift from one state and the heat is on them, they move to another state. Like in the 3 states, Ondo is more of where we are having some challenges now, if that or Akoko axis. So when the heat comes on them in Osun, they will move maybe to Odo or Ekiti. So what you do is you follow it. When we crime map the states, we know which area are they locking. And with the locals, they will give us information. That's where we bring in those people that stay in the local area. When they see new faces, let them track them, let them find out who are they. We are not saying they cannot stay, but who are they? Then you see the development of mining. The mining that have opened up in Osun is another thing we are looking at. So it has, brought in people.
You have extraneous people who are
coming in for
areas.
mining. It's a good development for the environment. It's opening up. You see, the last summit that was held have opened up Osun also. So when a place is opened up for industrialists to come in, a lot of people will come in. And when good things come, bad things follow. So we have to sift. So and you cannot get it unless you get to the root. So we get to the buyers, the traditional rulers, the traders, the yalogers, those in the market. We get them together to give us information.
Some of the concerns that a lot of people have is, because if I ask five people, they will be hesitant to go to a police station to report certain matters.
Why?
Because they feel that when they get in there, it's either, even when they want to help someone who is a victim of something, they're afraid. They think if I get to the police, they might tell me, if I write a statement, they might detain me, they might hold me. So people are apprehensive about going to report a matter to a police station because they say, look, I don't want trouble. They asked me to come today, keep reporting time and again. So have you taken note of that? Is there an improvement to ensure that people are free to walk into a police station and report a matter?
My coming here is part of it.
It is not a police station. Oh, okay. I get you.
To give them the information. last 2 weeks, there was a program we had to, build up the capacity of our personnel and cut across all the ranks with Clean Foundation. And we partner with a lot of, not only that, we partner with them to build the capacity of our men. And at that level, we told them, our men also, they should know the improvement that have come up on the criminal administration of justice in Nigeria. The new act have given a lot of opportunities for everybody to know his or her rights. The policemen must be able to evolve the etiquette of humility, honesty, fairness, and justice. And that is to be professional to the core. And that's what we train them, we are teaching them. And also members of the public, after that program, we brought out a communique, and it was circulated, it was in the news, it was in the print media, electronics media, telling them their rights. When you come to a station, you have a right to make a statement. If you don't want, you have a right to ask your lawyer to be there. Even when it comes to the situation, where we have trial within trial. In those days, a police officer have to countersign and say, I have read it to the suspect's hearing without any promise, inducement, or threat. We have moved out. We have moved on. It has to be recorded now.
Okay.
So these new innovations are in the interest of members of the public,
there's another
and they should know it.
When they get to the police station, sometimes they see, on some walls pasted, bail is free.
Right.
But right there, when you see bail is free, somebody says, no, you have to pay to get this person out.
I answered this question here the last time.
People still send us message today saying, no, that's not true.
It takes two to tango. Right, let me tell you. Somebody is asking you. You tell him you are coming. Move on to an officer in that station. The DPO is there. No, you see, if we don't correct these things, it will continue. Move to the DPO and say, this is what is happening. And mind you...
So what about when the DPO says, well, you have to do something?
If DPO says, then move to the area commander. I've said it here. We have lines that you can report all these incidents, and it's working.
You have to give us those lines. Because in some cases, it's the DPOs themselves that The
DPO will not. You see, let me say how it happens. Yeah. Most men are just the one causing it. They induce the policemen to say, please, this is for... It is not right. And each time the two of them are picked up, we have disciplined our men, and we tell the other fellow also that we can arraign him in court. So it takes two to tango. As our policemen are being warned, we also want members of the public to know their rights. Like I was talking about it, the fundamental human rights of the citizenry is paramount, and we cannot jettison it.
What about, sorry to jump in, the roads? I mean, this is what people face more, even much more than going to the police station, roadblocks. I know there was one IG that said, no, it's motorized. They gave you different names. But what rights do people have with these roadblocks?
You have to develop strategies depending on what type of crime is prevalent. Now, what we're having per se is not roadblock. You see, when you mention roadblock, it's a total blockade. And you ask everybody to come down and search. Then when you say...
Do we have checkpoints?
Well, no, what we have is stop and search.
Oh.
And stop and search, let me clarify it. If information is given that a Prado Jeep is stolen from the control room, and we have information that it's going through one route, it's going to pass through, and it has left, then you can see every Prado black, they are suspected stolen vehicles for that moment. So you can now pin down and ask them to come down or check or search the vehicles. Not every vehicle now. So it's discretionary. And they are not static. The stop and search points...
But these ones I see coming to work every day, they are usually there almost every morning.
No, when they are static, like, let me talk on my zone. Okay. You see, along that stretch from Ashejire, before you get to Ife, that was the place where we were having the challenge then. And you remember that the whole area, you have thick forests. And so I went round with my team, and the Inspector General of Police gave me policemen to, make visibility policing. You see, psychologically, you deter them when policemen are on ground. If you go to places in modern policing, we use technology now, but more importantly, visibility policing is equally very important. The visible policemen on ground deter them from coming to the road. Okay. I tell you, some people that you think they are even lame on that road, they are the one giving intelligence to the robbers to come on the road. So when we went there, we arrested all of them. They gave us information. And you think they are begging for money and they're on the road. So you need to do a lot of critical thinking and a lot of going down to find out the root causes of all these problems. No. So when we dominate where they used to stay, we didn't have the problems again. So it's not roadblock per se. It's just stop and search. And they're not going to be permanent. We'll remove them when there's no need for them.
You talked about preventive policing the other time, and you talked about going round. At this season, people travel a lot. Already, the police security apparatus of each state is pressured. Now, people have moved into those areas. How are those things now being managed, given that the previously sparsely populated community is now a little heavier populated because of the influx of...
We're prepared. We have what we call the operation order. So it's a thing that, you see, police also project. We have our plans. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. So even this December arrangement we are talking about that people call Ember month, we started preparing for it since January. So we have our intelligence. It's not the number of policemen now. It's the intelligence network that does a lot for us.
How does that happen?
Right. The crime we're having today, more is on the handset that we are having.
How do you mean?
Kidnapping and all that. People use to track themselves on the phone, all the transactions, online fraud and all that. Yeah. A lot of crime is related to, when there was no phone, there was no online fraud, because there was no online banking. So I have said it that it is the same technology we are using now to counter them. I won't be able to explain much on that. Okay. But the issue is that globalization, modernization, robotization have developed such that crime is such that you can't just sit down and watch them. We have to be ahead of them. So what we do, we have technical platforms that we have put in place in those states, in all those areas you said people have flooded. And we monitor also. We monitor. And anything that trigger up, we're able to curtail it.
Okay, just one, because we're running out of time. You talked about community policing the other time. How does that work? Because there are many of these communities we have. One of the things that you have told us in the police is the ethnicity is a reason, the religious sentiments and all of that. How do you manage those things? And what do we need to tell the people that, look, these sentiments, you know, how do we manage security around these sentiments?
I look at it, let me use 3 keywords. We must be ready to sacrifice. The police and members of the public. Sacrifice. The police must be committed, and that's what we're doing. Sacrifice to put in your best, your time, your energy, your resources, and everything. To do the work with passion and with all professional etiquette that it deserves. Commit, that's sacrifice. From the public, they need to sacrifice and give us information. Sacrifice to commit themselves to believing that the police is going to work if they join hands with us. And the 2 other ones that is very critical is trust and confidence. We have to build that trust and confidence back.
Whose task is that?
All of us, the police. I give you one example.
He talked about, that trust quotient being deficient the other time. When people are not willing or able or afraid to...
We need to build back that trust. I was Commissioner of Police in Oyo. I can remember vividly. And I think channels picked up that story some time ago. There was a town where it was bad because they said some group of people should leave the town. And I called them and said, it is never done. It's going to be, there might be a reprisal attack. And I went back.
Sorry, you're talking about people of different...
Yes. There's the ethnic something you are of different, but they grew up in that environment. They don't know any other place. But they are not from there. I don't want to start using...
Yeah.
But the story is that we have to go down, manage them, call everybody together, and by the time we finished, we all held ourselves and we were singing together. Today, they are back there. The point is that if there is no trust and confidence, from the two sides, we won't get to anywhere. And the police is trying to build back that trust and confidence. That's why we're talking of community policing. People should come, offer information. We've said it. Give it, we will hold it with all confidentiality it deserves.
What is because when a policeman stops one on the road, for average, I mean, if not 50% of people, the first thing is that they're like, oh, what again now? Now the police ask you, let me see your driving license, your particulars. They ask all those kind of questions. And this has to be some busy road. And when they stop your car, they stop different kinds of cars. They're not stopping the same kind of car all through for you to assume that maybe that kind of car has been stolen. So people are usually, and police is usually hostile to people on the road. So what is being done?
That's what we are doing a lot
to
of
improve that?
Capacity building now. Capacity building. And remember that, you see, the people we are recruiting are from the society. It's just a reflection of the society. But I always say that when we bring them in, we train them. We train them and give them. You see, we must encourage the good ones to come to the police. Sometimes we are also not helping matters. I've gone to an environment and I discussed, they say, you're in the police? I say, yes. When I wanted to jump, most people did not encourage me. But today they call me. I've been able to put my interest in the job, and that's why I'm where I am today. Let's encourage the good ones to come in. Not just the dropouts. I was working under an assistant inspector general while I was a deputy commissioner, and a friend called him, and the AIG got annoyed. Say, see what this man is. I said, okay, what is it? He said there is one stupid boy in his house, he's a notorious, he's the bad boy, he should come and recruit it into the police. So is it the bad ones that should come into the police? If you put the bad ones, then they are the ones you will see on the road. So I am saying that we need the good ones.
Okay, I agree.
We will train them.
Let me emphasize something that Chamberlain asked the other time about the papers. Ask you to show your driver license, show your papers. What papers should the policeman? One moment. Should the policeman be asking for? Because we asked the same question of the road safety and they gave theirs. So what kind of papers are people mandated to show to the police when they ask questions? And then add to this, the issue of tinted permits. We still ask you, for tinted permits.
Even when it's factory fitted.
When it's factory fitted.
In general terms, it's only when there is Operation Velvet.
Velvet?
Yes, where there is a decree, sort of, say, between so date and so date, we are going to check papers.
Is this still on now? Is there Operation Velvet now?
No, you see that's where I'm coming to. You still have some police officers that hide on that. Mind you, the power of the policeman is there at every reasonable suspicion that he can stop a vehicle. So the power is given to him to do that.
No,
but we have to regulate it. Yeah. The authority will regulate it by saying, during so-so period and so-so period, we'll do it. And then what you are saying, we have already taken cognizance of it, and we are taking measures to stop it. Not just every vehicle should be stopped. And the tinted permit issue, you see, people under the guise of a tinted permit vehicle also commit a lot of atrocities. Mind you, they can park arms and inside the vehicle and say that it's because it's tinted, and policemen will not be able to see it. So we've seen a lot of vehicles that are tinted, factory fitted. You still need to just be assured when you check the vehicle. And tinted permit, we have given directives. The last meeting we had with the Inspector General of Police, we are going to make it public and tell them. We'll have to renew it also to make sure that people that are supposed to have it are the ones that will have it. If you have some medical challenges, the factory fitted vehicle, we don't need any problem. It's on the we have it that you can access it on our website, and then it will be given without any problem.
Have you heard that narrative where some people say some policemen on the roads they ask for bribes on the roads because their guys in the office get kickback from that? That's why they are consistently there.
That has been the old story. It's not. You see, we use ourselves as example. I like myself.
No, you're not rank and file on the streets.
No, what I'm saying is this.
That example
No. Let me tell you. No, I do. I will be in suit like this, and I will introduce myself. I will be in a vehicle. Do you remember that there was a commissioner of police in Lagos some time ago? I won't mention his name. I was deputy commissioner at the state CID, and our policeman did not know he was the one. He camouflaged with cap, and they asked him to sit behind the counter. So we do all this to see them the way they behave on the road. We need to continue to, change their psyche. We'll continue to work on that, and I'm believing that we'll get there. A lot of things are being done in terms of development of the personnel.
All right, we'll do what we can. I mean, if we have questions and from those in Zone 11, we'll always put them across to you so they can have their answers with a view to improving that relationship between the police and the people. So we thank you for coming on. Mr. Adeleye Oyebade is the Assistant Inspector General of Police for Zone 11. All the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're back in a moment. Stay with us.